Hello everybody, it is 6:15 and I am now live. I'm Liz Pearson and I run the hashtag, oh God, I can't remember what it's called, what is it? Turning Tool Tuesday. But tonight I thought I would do a bit of Turning Talk Tuesday. I've been following through the hashtag lots of different turners. I've spoken to Richard Finlay last year. I also spoke to Anthony from GorillaBowls, and they were both fascinating. So I thought I would speak to some more people. Hello, everyone who's joining. I thought I'd speak to some more turners this year. And Neil, who goes by the Instagram name A Woodworker Son, kindly volunteered to have a chat with me. So we're going to hopefully get him to join this live, and then I'm going to ask him some questions for about 10 minutes. So you'll get to find out a bit more about him. So now I have to fiddle about at the bottom here and try and add somebody into the chat. Invite to join. There we go. So let's see if I can add him. Oh, there he comes. Right. Apparently I've invited Neil to join. Let's see if he does actually join in. So I think I became aware of Neil maybe 18 months ago. I started following him and looking at his work. If you can't, oh, there he goes. He's joined. Okay. Neil, I've sent you a request so you can actually join in and talk to me in person. I'm just going to keep filling until you do that. Yeah. So I've been very interested. He makes very good videos. If you haven't watched any of his reels, there's always a bit of humor in them. And there's also lots of different techniques he's tried out. So I first spotted his videos because he was making really tiny things, miniatures. And it's interesting why he does that. I don't want to tell you, I don't want to give it away, because hopefully he's going to tell us in a minute. But he also, oh, he's unable to join. Oh no, why is that? Oh, so just had a little thing pop up. Let's see. Accept. There we go. Okay, I've accepted you. Hopefully you'll join. No, where are you, Neil? We probably should have rehearsed this. Let's try again. Like invite you. Okay, I've invited you. And hopefully you'll be able to then accept that request. Yeah, none of us are very good at this, are we? Well, hopefully we're better at wood turning than we are at operating technology. Anyway, apart from making little miniatures, I also was very interested in Neil's use of straw marquetry in his wood turning. So I thought it'd be interesting to talk to him about how that works. But not if we can't talk to him. So we'll see if he can join. You should have an invite request, Neil, and if you click on it, you should be able to join. Oh, we really should have practiced this, shouldn't we? It was a bit too, I don't know why you're unable to join. It just keeps popping up that you can't join. Annoying. Why won't it let you join? I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know how we can do this, because I've never invited anyone to join if we haven't actually been live. Oh, I am here, but I don't seem to be able to see an invite. Okay. Well, why don't you, Neil, why don't you request to join and then I'll accept? So can you see the two little people at the bottom with the plus sign? Can you click on that and then ask to join? Sorry, everybody. Talk amongst yourselves or make a cup of tea or something. Can you do that, Neil? Oh, Anthony's joined. Anthony, how does Neil get onto a live? Can you see that button at the bottom, Neil, that's got two little people and a plus sign? Can you see that or not? Is it just me that can see that because I've started the video? I don't know. Oh, let's try again. I'll send you another invitation. Right, I've sent you an invite, so you should be able to accept it. Oh, here he comes.
Oh, here we go.
Here you come.
There you
Yay.
go. I'm here. Sorry.
No,
This is the beauty of technology.
Well, I don't know why I assume that it's going to work, because I really should assume it's not going to work, because,
No, I'd never know. I think I'm quite good with tech. I'm the computer lead in my school, hilariously. I'm never very good with it.
I don't know. I just think, oh, it'll be fine. And then I'm filling, and so I'm just talking at everybody. Everyone's going hello and waving, running out of things to say.
Well, it's nice if people are listening.
I didn't want to tell everything that you're going to say. So here he is, everybody.
Hello.
Hi. So I was just saying to people, I don't know, you probably weren't listening to me because you were frantically trying to join.
Yes.
I've been following you on Instagram for about 18 months. And the first things that I saw, I think, were all your little tiny videos
Yeah.
of tiny
Yeah.
things, and then pulling back like Russian dolls and seeing the bigger version and
Yeah.
the bigger version. I found that really fascinating. And I think in one of your posts you explained why you make miniatures, but how did you get into it in the first place, making tiny versions?
Yeah. The miniatures thing came about because one, I don't have a lot of time. So a lot of the time I've only got like maybe an afternoon or a morning in the workshop every now and again. And it sort of came from a sort of a speed aspect. But then I realized that I've never sold, well, I haven't sold many things. I normally give them away. But a lot of things that you make as a maker, a lot of them take quite a lot of time. I don't often have short builds, I suppose. And so I was giving them away. And then I realized that you have a photo, you have a little video, but actually a little kind of sort of memento of what you've turned is quite a nice way to stack it up, and you see the progression over time. Because although the miniatures, some of them are really basic, a lot of them do get more complex as the builds get complex. So I wanted to sort of have a sort of a little physical embodiment of each thing that I've turned. And so I think it started off with, I think it started with this one, and I haven't even given it away. Here's the big version, which was
Right.
one of the first Kanzuki kind of inspired pieces.
Yeah.
And then I was meant to give it away, but it never made it. As so many things do. I'm sure my wife hates it. Then I made a little tiny version.
Did you have to
Um,
deliberately break that, or did you? What? How?
no, um, I saw, like most things, I saw it on the internet, and they're not broken at all. All they've done is I've carved a channel in
Okay.
there with a Dremel, and then stuffed the glue in, stuffed the gold in,
Mm.
and then painted it. So, and this one's not even carved. All I've done on that one is paint the glue
Paint
across,
it
and add the,
across. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
But that's
and add
that's
the gold in.
interesting, because you can make all the little piece, you can make this supposedly broken pieces aesthetically pleasing.
Oh
It
yeah,
doesn't, you don't have to risk a break in a horrible, so it doesn't go back together really nicely.
no, and I did try it with a hollow form, like making a thin hollow form and then breaking it, but the wood doesn't quite break in the same way ceramics do.
No.
So it breaks, but it breaks with all the angles. It didn't look quite as good as I'd like it. So in the end, I just manufactured the broken look.
Manufacture the break. It's funny, isn't it, what you end up doing? Things that you think would be relatively simple, like, oh, just break it. No.
No,
that
never.
you'd think it should be straightforward. But yeah. So how long have you been turning?
Um, when you said in your message, I thought I don't actually know. It's about 10. I'd say about 8, maybe 10 years.
Yeah.
It might be less, to be honest. I'm not really sure. It might even be less than that. It might be 8, I think, somewhere about 8. And it all started. And the only reason I know that is because I moved into my house and obviously had a garage that used to hold a car,
Yeah.
and then it held a car with a flip out workbench, and then it held no car with a big workbench, and it's slowly become a workshop. And so it was only when I got the house I was able to have the space for anything sort of woodwork, and it was a couple of years just basic woodworking. So yeah, it's been about 8 years since I managed to get hold of, well, a lathe and then a couple of lessons,
That's funny.
so
That's
to speak.
exactly the same as me. When we moved into this house, it was 11 years ago. And as soon as we moved in and I saw there was a little shed in the back garden, I went, right, I'm having that. Dibs on that
Yeah,
shed. Because I'd never had the opportunity to have any space for any tools or any workshop the whole time. We just lived in little terraced houses. with a
Yeah.
little yard out the back, and there was no space for any kind of machinery or workshop or anything. So yeah, as soon as I moved in here, and it took about a year to actually get a lathe.
Yeah,
But
you
yeah,
got. Yeah, it is difficult. You've got to make the most of the space you've got. And a lathe is actually one of those great tools where you don't need a huge amount of space. I'm only working out of a single car garage, so it's not a huge space, but you don't need a lot of space. That's what the beauty of a lathe is, that it is quite compact.
well, I'm stuffed it. I mean, my little shed is completely full up. It is literally the size of a garden shed.
Yeah,
So it has a lathe, a bandsaw, a grinder, and that's about it. That's all I can fit in there. I really desperately wanted a planer, and last Christmas I bought myself a planer from Screwfix, and it sat in the box in the kitchen, and I kept thinking about how I could fit it in the shed, and thinking, right, oh, maybe I can move that shelf, or maybe I can move the bandsaw up, and in the end I had to take it back to Screwfix because I
yeah.
couldn't shoehorn it in. I was so disappointed. I had to take it back to Screwfix and go, I just can't fit it in. I really want it, but I can't fit it in. But so your little miniatures, are you still making those then? Are you still continuing that sort of little
Yeah,
practice?
everything that I turn, I will make a mini version. The
Mm.
and I mean, it's nice. I just sort of collecting them in my workshop now. And the latest one was for my woodturning group. They did a gala night where everyone turns a thing, and it was a wig stand this year.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh yes, I saw your little Japanese inspired wig stand. Yeah.
yeah, so that was the first iteration, the prototype of a slightly small. And
Mm.
then I haven't had a chance to give it to him because I missed the gala night, unfortunately. But I've got the big version, and
Yeah. So the hair is a bit bigger than your prototype.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it needs to sit a wig on there, and
Yeah.
I've already made my little mini version. So that's my last.
Oh,
Oh
oh,
God!
oh, oh.
But there you
We're
go. Everyone's
falling.
gone for a trip. There you go.
Oh, it's really cute.
So
It's lovely. Yeah.
yeah, I'll
Really
still
nice.
do them. It's a really nice way of, and then it's not. You think, oh, it's going to be easier to make a small version,
Not
and
necessarily.
actually, a lot of the time, it's a great challenge because you've got to think in a slightly different way, either because your tools you haven't got the right tools, and you've got to be a little bit adaptive.
Mm.
But I'll keep making them. It's one of my favorite things to do. One, it's quick, but also it really is a bit of a skills challenge to sort of see if you can make something
Yeah.
that small. And then obviously you'll make one small thing, and I can guarantee 4 people to go, you can probably do smaller. And then you get into this hilarious challenge between other makers of how small can you make a bowl, and you're there with magnifying glasses on and tweezers making a spoon for a miniature nail-sized bowl. So
Yeah.
it's great fun.
Yes. I did one challenge. Well, I've done a couple of tiny things, but I did one at my club where we had a challenge to make something smaller than a pound coin. Which,
Yeah.
I mean, I think basically we all made goblets, I think. So I think mine won, and I maintain the only reason I won was because I'm the youngest and I've got the best eyesight.
Yeah.
Not technically the best, but I've got the best eyesight out of
Nice. Yeah.
everybody because I am the
It's nice to have
youngest.
that.
Yeah. So are you a member of a club or just a kind of informal group?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a club. Like I said, I've been turning there for 8 years, and the sort of story there was my wife got me a day with a man called Albert Lane, a professional woodturner in Ipswich, and I can't remember what came first. I think the lesson came first,
Mm.
and he's still going, he's still doing it. But he was an old boy then, and he just went, right, we'll make whatever, we'll make a stool. And we made the classic dipper and the classic honey dipper. And then he went, oh, we'll make a little 3-legged stool. And so we made all these things, and straight away I was hooked.
Yeah.
It was one day, 8 hours, and I came away with like a dipper, a stool, and I was like, this is it. And so then my dad managed to get me a lathe that worked, and it was like a death trap. It would knock every now and again, but it was my first lathe. And then again with the big sort of adapter, I didn't have a chuck at all,
Yeah.
so practiced it. I did so I was learning how to turn, but also how to sort of navigate the tools I had, which weren't great. But again, I do think that's quite a good way of learning, because you do have to think around it. You've got to get a jig. But then I thought I'd like to do a couple of lessons
Yeah.
because it's really, I mean, it's great to learn on the go, but you cannot fault sitting with somebody and turning who knows all the tricks and can teach you exactly why you do things.
I think
And
understanding why, yeah, and also just it's a shortcut, I think, to get lessons because they just put you on the right track, and
oh
then
yeah,
you can kind of I mean, you probably would work it out for yourself, but it'd take
but
like
I
three
think
or
it
four
10
times
times
as
longer.
long.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and you'll make always make mistakes, but you make mistakes that you probably wouldn't need to.
yeah,
So I got a couple of lessons, and I was really lucky to get a lesson with Mark Sanger, and like the entire day is just like he just feeds you with all these tips, and you think, oh yeah, what a silly! I can't believe I didn't think of
yeah,
that. And then, and about 2 or 3 years ago, you get to a point where you think, oh, I'm learning a lot of people I know on the internet, but I'm not meeting a lot of woodturners.
yeah.
So I joined my group, Avon and Kennet,
Oh yeah, Avon and
and
Kennet.
yes, and just I mean, there's so much knowledge there.
Yeah,
And again, I'm the youngest, which is always quite nice to be.
yeah. I like being the
But
youngest.
they're amazing. Like you go in there and go, I'm having an issue with this,
Mm,
and you can guarantee there's 5 or 6 people that have done it again, got a T-shirt, and
yeah,
know all the jigs, and they are always. And it's a bit like the people on the internet. It's just they're so
yeah,
helpful, and I think it's because you innately want people to do. You want people to enjoy it and either be inspired to do it or enjoy watching it,
yeah.
but they just want to literally pour their knowledge into you, and it's incredible. So yeah, I joined my club mainly for that, just so I can get a little bit more kind of experience around me. Because normally it's quite a, I won't say it's lonely, but it's a one man, one woman, one person kind of activity a lot of the
It's a
time.
bit solitary, yeah, which is good, but
Yeah.
then it's nice to come together. No, I'm the same. I mean, I sort of learned through my club. So my club's called Kennet Valley.
Oh, nice.
So I'm in Berkshire, but there is another club called Berkshire Turners. So
Yeah.
our club couldn't call ourselves that. Um, so we're Kennet Valley because we're sort of part of the Thames Valley. I think, I guess. I don't. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
the River Kennet.
Must be. Yeah.
But yeah, I just started going along to the club and going, what lathe have you got? What lathe have you got? What equipment do I need to buy? And they, yeah, like you say, just so helpful. And you can
Yeah.
get so much. I got all my tools through the club, basically, all secondhand. And I got a bandsaw through the club, and you can find out where to get wood through the club. And I got
Yeah.
my sandpaper through the club because they buy in bulk, and then it's really cheap to get it. So yeah, I'm going tonight actually. So at 7:30, I have to go. I'm going to go watch. We've got a pole lathe demonstration
Oh, brilliant.
tonight, so
Yeah.
I'm looking
Great.
forward to that.
Yeah.
So you just see so many different things that you wouldn't see. So I mean, you've tried miniatures. You've been doing straw marquetry inlay as well. Was
Yeah.
that wasn't through your club, was it? Was that just something you were interested
No, a lot of the things that I turn, it's because I very rarely turn the same thing twice, but a lot of it comes from I'll see something, whether we've been to an art gallery or we've seen something on the internet, and I'll go, I think I could do that. And it's a disease, I'm sure of it, that you go, I think I could do that. And like, 'cause for a little while, I got obsessed with wire bonsai trees,
in? Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
okay, how can I get that into a wood? And I do that, and this I got especially with segment turning, and then I saw on the internet a gentleman in Denmark, no, it was Australia, a brother team, and it's predominantly, I mean, it's a really old craft that used to be done in prison because it was cheap,
mm,
and it just uses rye straw and the natural silicon this natural silica in the rye straw basically gives it this wonderful iridescent shine. And
yeah,
I saw these guys making furniture with it and trays, and I was like, that can go on a bowl, surely.
yeah,
And
yeah, absolutely.
then, and so instead of doing like, okay, and it starts like this. It's just rye straw.
Okay.
This is obviously, and then this is, I mean, this is from a guy in France. The problem is there's not many people doing it. It's on the endangered crafts.
Oh, it is.
So
Right. Okay.
there's one, a lady up north that does it, but obviously it's too far for me to get
Yeah.
to. And a lot of them are French. And so at the moment, I've not kind of been able to find any sort of courses or lessons to go to. So I'm just learning as I
Yeah.
go. And so it's just basically rice straw that's dyed, and then you soak it, you split it and flatten it, with an iron, and then you can just use it like veneer.
Yeah.
And it's time consuming. So here's the first thing that I made,
Oh,
and it's like, and again,
completely covered in straw.
Yeah, that one's completely covered. So it's a blue straw,
Wow.
and you can see when it catches the light, it's not buffed at all. It's not got any polish. That's just naturally how it looks.
Wow.
But I went with these stupid diamond shapes. Like a lot of the thing, I'll go, I'll just do I want it to be fancy, so why not? Let's make it fancy. And you sit there for hours in front of the TV, like just clearing.
So are you gluing literally strip by strip?
Yeah, pretty much. So this one that I turned second is sort of like,
I like
so
that
each one is individually stuck on and cut.
Right.
And then just like in Marquetry, you just put the next bit on, cut it and stick it with bookbinding glue is what I'm using at the moment.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, it's an incredible craft, and the people that have been doing it for a long time they're incredible to watch, especially if you get into like the Japanese straw marquetry, because that's another level entirely.
Okay.
But some people had said, I managed to get to a few people and they were like, no, it's not going to work, because obviously the wood moves, so you have to use really dry, almost very little moisture contained wood. Because if it does move, it does pop off. So like on this one, it's just popping off at the top a little bit.
Right.
But on all the other pieces that I've made so far, it's stayed solid because they're relatively dry, so the wood's not moving anymore.
I guess what you want to do is turn the form, allow it to settle, and bring it in the house so it can adjust to the humidity, and then do the marquetry indoors kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, that's what part of the reason why I get into these crafts that are not really workshop based, because you can do them I'm working in a garage. Can be quite cold.
Yeah.
And so I can turn a bit and then bring it indoors and do that little bit indoors.
Do a bit of the straw marquetry, in the warm.
Yeah, exactly, and not freeze out there, even with the numerous layers. So yeah, it is an incredible. And I'm trying to get some lessons, or trying to get hold of somebody. And there are quite a few people. There's a gentleman in Denmark, Copenhagen, who makes these incredible like wooden wall sculptures, and he covers them in little sort of like circular straw marquetry scales. And obviously with the iridescent shine from when the light hits it, it looks totally different.
Wow.
So that's that's what I'm looking at this year. There's a man called, I don't know what his actual name is, Carl Fox is his handle. And he does marquetry, but marquetry with a laser. And so I've been having a little go with straw marquetry, but cut out on a laser to try and get really intricate geometrical patterns that I can try and affix to wood, but I've not quite figured it out just yet. But that's my next go-to project, I suppose.
So I've just got a laser, and I'm right at the beginning of my laser journey. So have you got a laser that you've had for a bit longer then? Yeah,
I bought one, and it's not a great one. It's just like a relatively cheap one. And I originally bought it because I wanted to, my plan was, not that I've got around to it yet, was to be able to make like little discs that I can pop in the bottom of the bowls with my initials, my name on there. So I can think about the lovely Anthony. It did help me out with some computer work on there because he's a bit of a whiz. And I haven't got around to actually making it yet. But it's a really cheap bit of kit, but once you play with it, it can do loads of things. Like I'm already making some like templates for redoing like spinning tops and lasering out the shape, so you can pop it onto the lathe, measure the piece that you're making, so they're all the same. And that's quite useful.
You're just making like little sizing sort of things. Yeah,
pretty much. But that's quite, and you can make boxes. So I've made boxes for things to go in that I've turned, and it's quite a useful piece of kit. But again, like everything, it takes quite a lot of time to get efficient with it. So a lot of it, I'm just messing around in the garage, pressing print, and realizing that's not going to work, and pressing print again. So.
Yeah, I've done a bit with mine. All I've done is flat things so far. So I've engraved little logos on some things. So that's okay. I've tried.
Nice.
I've done some. I make cufflinks, so I've been engraving my logo onto
Oh yeah,
craft
great.
the craft box, jewelry box, so I don't
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
pay for printing. So that's
nice.
quite good. I did think I would try engraving my logo onto my smock,
Oh
along
yeah,
my jacket.
yeah, yeah,
I haven't been brave enough to do that yet because I thought if I do it too intense, it might go on fire. So
yeah, yeah.
I'm
I
waiting
tend
till
to.
I can figure out the setting for cotton, and then I'm gonna like try it. But yeah, have you got? So you're doing that. You seem like a bit like me. I always have like a little idea, like, oh, I might try this or that. But yeah,
Yeah,
I bought the rotary axis that goes with
yes,
the laser, so you
yeah,
can. I think my idea is because I have great sort of like graphic ideas for engraving, like you say, round bowls or round
yeah,
things. But I've tried with the pyrography, and I'm just not good enough at it. But I thought if
yeah,
the laser did it, then it will be
yeah,
perfect.
easy. Yeah,
Be perfect.
but
So
yeah, I have these ideas of grandeur as well, and I think
mm,
I've always wanted to make a Zoetrope bowl, and there is a gentleman that does it, but he
yeah,
does it with
oh
a
my god, yeah,
CNC carving machine,
that'd be
and so he puts it
awesome.
on, and he cuts it, and he spins it, and it obviously looks like it's moving.
Yeah,
And I've tried to do that with like priority pens, but it's just so hard to get it right. And if you haven't got the right type of wood, you burn bits, and then bits don't burn. So I haven't got any further with that, and I would like to get that at the rotary thing for the laser, but I just haven't. There's enough
yeah.
tools, so I've
Well,
got to learn the stuff I've got.
I've got the rotary thing, but I haven't actually used it yet. All I've done is flat lasering so
Yeah,
far. But my next step is to then try and. The idea is to do a little bud vase, and then go out and take some photographs, and then hopefully manipulate them to sort of put some naturey type images
oh yeah,
onto the vase.
nice, yeah, great.
Who knows how that'll work? But
But that's the fun part. That's the great
that
thing. You can just give it a
that's
go
it.
and see if
Yeah,
it works.
it's just
Yeah,
like the idea of like find some nice naturey leaves or something, and then just sort of basically wrap them round, do a little
yeah,
band
nice.
and wrap it around in some way. But yeah, that's the idea. But who knows? Yeah, like you say, things develop and change all the time. Oh no, Anthony's saying now he's got a new challenge. I think he might be.
Oh yeah, he'll be great, and it'll be
He'll
easy.
be able to do it. Yeah, I mean, if he can make that Daruma doll, whatever it's called, the Japanese
Yeah.
doll. Yeah. So, in terms of wood turning, what's your next technique that you want to try, or are you just happy continuing as you are?
Uh, I've got technique wise, there's a gentleman at my woodturning group that does thread chasing,
Oh,
and there's
oh yeah,
couple of people on the internet that do thread chasing, and so I've
freehand.
managed to, yeah,
Yeah,
freehand
freehand.
thread chasing,
Yeah,
because I like making hollow forms with lids or lidded boxes,
yeah.
and I would like to make, well, I get proficient at doing but it's just so hard.
I
The
think.
guy that
Yeah,
the gentleman that does it as he goes, yeah, you do it, and it's done, and you're like, oh yeah, it looks easy, and I'm in there fudging around for hours. I think it's a real skill.
the word knack comes to mind
Yeah,
with that because I've done 2 lessons on that. And the first time I went, it's an old guy that's near me who's now retired. But he said, because I said, look, I want to learn this, and I can't do it myself. And he said, oh, I haven't done that for a long time, but come along and we'll have a go. So the first day we failed, didn't manage to do it, and he felt so bad. He said, look, I'm going to practice, and then you can come back and we'll try again. So
nice. Yeah,
I did get the hang of it, and I did make two essentially like ashes urns for ashes
yeah,
because I wanted to screw on lids so that they're very secure. So I made these 2 urns, which were like a commission for a lady. Um, and that was okay. And I had my eye in then, and I knew what I was doing. But that was about 4 years ago.
yeah.
And I am fairly sure if I tried to do it now,
It's gone.
I wouldn't be able to. I've lost the knack, So you have to kind of, it's like a thing you need to practice keep it, otherwise you
Yeah,
lose
of
it.
course.
And I think people that do thread chasing tend to specialize in
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
If you make threaded lidded boxes, that is what you do. You kind of really go into it. But yeah, I'd be interested to see how you get on with that because
yeah. I think, yeah,
I could do it, but it's frustrating
yeah, of
because you're
course.
following your movement has to match the speed of the lathe, and the
Yeah.
pressure that you're applying has to be very consistent, and you have to follow the thread down each time you cut. You have to get in the groove and follow it. If you twitch or hiccup, you just smash the threads. They're gone.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, for fuck's sake, I was nearly done. I have to start again. And then you end up with the tenon being too small. You know,
Yeah, of course.
and then you just have to scrap it and just do a new one. It's just, it can be really frustrating, but it's really satisfying when it works and you can screw a thing together and you go, oh my god, I've like made something that could screw together just with my own two hands. You know, it's quite satisfying, but equally satisfying and frustrating in
I'm looking forward to either.
Yeah, it is frustrating. Yeah, but it was. I think I need to go because I have to go off to Woodturning Club now. So I've
have a lovely time.
really good time. But yeah, it's so nice to talk to you.
Yeah,
and I just want to say,
thank you.
Yeah, thank you to everybody that's joined us. I mean, I can see. Oh, can I see how many people are watching? No, I can't see. But there's loads of people keep popping up at the bottom and waving. But if anybody who's watching would like to have a chat with me next month, because I'm thinking of doing this every month. Just message me and we can have a chat. So bye to everybody and thank you, Neil. Take care.
No,
I'll
thank
keep
you very much.
following
Have a nice
you.
evening.
Keep chatting to you.
And you as well.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye. I don't know how to end this. I think press the cross.
Who knows? I'll press the cross and
Top right, yeah. There we go. End now. Yeah.